We will call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning. My name is Maricel Hernandez. I'm the chair, and with me today is Commissioner William Cressy
Present.
and Commissioner June Brown.
Present.
Next item on the agenda is the consideration of the agenda. Any proposed changes? If not, we'll proceed with the approval of the regular board meeting minutes of July 9th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
Seconded by Commissioner Cressy.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes. Next is the Executive Director's report. Mr. Holliday.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner Brown, and Commissioner Cressy. Early voting in all 50 wards started yesterday. Voters can now go to any of our 52 open early voting sites across the city to vote. I am happy to say that all 50 wards early voting and the super site will once again be open as vote centers on Election Day, November the 5th, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. As of last night, we had 30,149 voters cast an early voting ballot. We are now at 260,361 total applications for vote by mail, and 56,729 vote by mail ballots have already been returned back to the board. So our grand total of received ballots and voted 86,878. We also have 32 early voting sites where bilingual voting officials will be on hand to assist voters in their preferred languages. Additionally, we have 3 temporary early voting sites located on college campuses across Chicago that will be open October 30th through November the 1st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Chicago State University, Northeastern Illinois University, and the University of Chicago. Sunday, October the 20th was the last day for online registration. Our registration department is working to get all those applications processed. Moving forward, voters can use same-day registration at any early voting site or their preferred precinct polling place on Election Day to get registered or update their information. This Thursday, we are welcoming a parade to the polls for dozens of students from Vaughn Occupational High School and more to vote for their very first time. This drive is organized by Mikva Challenge, the Chicago Bulls Community Foundation, Common Cause, Access Living, and many more. This event is an initiative that provides students with disabilities an opportunity to research who and what is on the ballot, register to vote, and cast a ballot and celebrate their voice. Final preparations for early voting and for Election Day are taking place at the warehouse as all early election supply carriers are being packed and getting ready for delivery. This past Sunday, I accompanied Monica Galusha from our community service Polish outreach representative to the annual Polish American Congress Heritage Awards banquet. We provided election information to attendees as well as thank them for their help in securing bilingual judges for this election. And I recently recorded a Zoom seminar with Reverend Joseph Morrow of Fourth Presbyterian Church to talk about voting process and how to volunteer for Election Day to be shared with his congregation and others. I will share the video link once I have it. So ends my report, Madam Chair.
How's that? Can you talk about the warehouse?
Well, far as the equipment,
Yeah, whatever's going on there.
well,
Or is that Sandra?
do you have any report?
Well, I was going to report that, yeah, the warehouse has completed 47 of the logic and accuracy testing of the equipment. 3 are remaining. I was going to report on my report. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The poll books have been already completed logic and accuracy. The ESEs are currently being checked for final proof to make sure all the equipment and supplies are in there. The delivery started yesterday. About 137 precincts have been picked up already and scheduled for delivery.
And how many
What else?
precincts is it that we have?
1291.
1291.
1,291.
Okay, so they started yesterday?
Yeah, they started to pick up yesterday, and according to polling places, as of this morning, 137 precincts have been picked up at the warehouse and scheduled for delivery. The remainder will be finalized by this Thursday and be picked up hopefully in the next couple.
By this Thursday, all of them will be?
No, the finalizing of the final checkoff
Oh.
of the ESCs will be
Okay.
finalized this Thursday and will be picked up.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions?
As far as the warehouse and its status, everything's on hold till after the election? Or
Yes, it is.
completed?
It's that remodeling and repair is on hold until after the election. They won't start back until February. That's when it'll start, in February.
So when the big blue boxes, the ESCs, when they're returned to the warehouse, we're going to place them right back where they were, or we're going to put them on a different floor or different building?
They'll be placed where they were. There were some on those 2 floors that was repaired or updated, but those are early voting carriers.
I just want to point out also, you named 3 universities that are going to have, polling places on their campus right before Election Day.
Yes.
I'd just like to point out, there are also 3 colleges, 2 colleges and 1 university, where they are already early voting sites. So UIC is there, it's going to be an early voting site and is open there right now, as well as Truman College and Olive Harvey College. So it's great, and hopefully
Yes.
our college students will show up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Okay, thank you. Mrs. Spera, does that conclude your report?
No, I
Good,
No.
okay, no, that's fine.
Actually, so as of this morning, the total vote by mail applications requested is 260,927. So as of last night or the evening to this morning, we had an additional 566 vote by mail applications. The total number, as the executive director mentioned, the total number of vote by mail envelopes returned is 56,729. The last day to apply for a vote by mail ballot is next Thursday, October 31st. The processing of the vote by mail ballot started yesterday in the lower level. As of yesterday, there is now a total of 8,194 active assigned election judges, and 2,031 of that number are high school students. The election judge key envelope pickup starts next Friday, November 1st, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the lower level, and Saturday, November 2nd, at all 50 early voting sites from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The number of election coordinators assigned are 982. The election coordinator packet pickup is Wednesday, October 30th, and Thursday, October 31st. At the warehouse, logic and accuracy of the voting equipment is scheduled to be finished hopefully by today, if not tomorrow, the latest. The final checkoff of the remainder ESCs will be completed by this Thursday and released for delivery. And finally, the pre-election briefing and training for Election Central is next Sunday, November 3rd at 9:30 a.m. on the 22nd floor. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you.
One question,
Yes.
or more of a clarification. You said we've begun the processing of the early voting ballots in the lower level?
The vote by mail ballots.
Vote by mail ballots. What exactly does that, when you say processing, what does that entail?
So yesterday, election judges were assigned to start opening and initialing the ballots.
Yeah, but first they go through the signature verification?
Oh, you want me to walk you through the whole process?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the record.
So vote by mail envelopes are ran through the Agilis. Now these come from the mail or the drop box. There are then, they go through the Agilis, and then there's two passes. One is, recording everything that comes in. The signature verification is done at that, in between the first and the second pass. And during the second pass, anything that was rejected for a signature discrepancy, or if the voter already voted at an early voting location, the Agilis machine will reject that and put it on a different pocket. Or if the voter was helped by filling out, their ballot or the envelope, they have to, those get put in another pocket, so then we can enter the person who assisted the voter. And then they are ran through the second pass, and then they go into the room with the judges will initial the ballots and put them in ward transfer cases, and then they'll be scanned. And then eventually adjudicated if there is a discrepancy. I think it's any ballots that are blank, overvoted, or that's correct. Adam, can you repeat that?
Things that are, if the scanner identifies stray marks and random marks and the scanner can't figure out what to make of it, it red flags that ballot for adjudication, so that a team of election judges, one Democrat, one Republican, will then look at the ballot and for each individual contest make sure that the votes are accurately recorded.
And those ballots are not adjudicated until the final list of write-ins is produced, and that'll be after today, 5 o'clock. And then the adjudication will start at that point.
So, but the big thing is, we don't tabulate them, and
Oh, no.
nobody knows
No,
the
no.
votes or anything. That only comes out magically, not magically, but
Election
after
day,
the polls close
after
on
7 p.m.,
election
that's
day.
correct.
Okay, so but we're ready to go. We're not like some other jurisdictions
Oh,
that
no.
can't even start this processing until the polls close.
No, what the team does is they have an interim tape that's ran at the end of the day and then at the beginning and verified by the judges of election.
And Mr. Commissioner, that's of course how we get so much of our vote by mail results shortly after the polls close on Tuesday night, is that this processing has happened ahead of time. I'd also just like to point out that our entire canvass schedule, this is a part of what we call the canvassing of votes. And the canvass schedule with all these different events on it is on our website, and any credentialed poll watcher is welcome to come in and observe.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Madam Chair, I have one more thing. Monday, November the 18th is our budget hearing with the city. So,
November 18th.
yes, November 18th.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that on the city council schedule. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. If not, then we will proceed with Mr. Bever.
Good
Busy,
morning,
busy
Commissioners.
time for you.
It is a very busy time, but this is where it's fun, too. Now we're in a live voting period. Early voting is now open. We had our press conference with the chairwoman yesterday to kick it off. Chairwoman gave her comments in both English and Spanish. We also had comments from our community services team in Hindi, Chinese, and Polish, who worked with their community language media to attend the event. We got a lot of good clips out of that. And this time around, as the executive director mentioned, we have 32 sites, early voting sites this election with bilingual support, which is a new record for us. We're going to have one more press conference on Election Day over at the Super Site to kick off Election Day. The household mailer is in voters' mailboxes this week. I actually just got mine last night. So this is our regular mailer to all households that are registered within the city of Chicago. Lets them know their closest early voting sites, their vote-by-mail options, and their precinct polling place for Election Day. And just as a reminder, this one comes in 7 different languages. It's in Spanish, Hindi, Chinese, Polish, Korean, and Tagalog. Now that our 50-ward early voting sites are open, we're shifting a good portion of our messaging and emails to voters towards reminding vote-by-mail voters to return their ballots back as soon as they can. Good news is we're almost at 22% return back already. There'll be emails going out to vote-by-mail voters starting this week who have not yet returned them back, reminding them to get it back as soon as they can. Also reminding them and just clarifying some of the information that the Assistant Executive Director just said, which is if we get it back before the weekend before Election Day, that can be properly processed and will be tabulated for election night. we're getting it right back before Election Day or on Election Day, that's when you're going to see your ballot counted after Election Day. So to further clarify that process for people moving forward. We have a new webpage about how to cure a vote-by-mail ballot as well. I worked with People Team to create that, as well as Adam. We're also rolling out through our vendor a new program called Text to Cure for vote-by-mail ballots, which is an option that leads voters can text a 5-digit number. It will give them a web link where they can take a photo of their ID, provide a signature, and provide any other additional evidence needed to cure their ballot. So this will be a convenience. Instead of coming all the way to downtown to provide their ID or to provide another email, this is something that's directly connected with the board's offices to provide the identification necessary if that ballot was initially rejected because of a signature or of another issue. That voter can use the Text Secure program to provide the evidence that's needed, and so that's up on the website now. And that will be an option for voters for this election. We held the last of our mis and disinformation presentations this last Saturday at Legler Library. Thank you again to League of Women Voters of Chicago and Illinois, Chicago Public Libraries for partnering us with this series. We got a good amount of media attention, and we had a student reporter shadowing us on Saturday too for the entire day. So, I think I think this is a good model for what we can do moving forward in not just correcting misconceptions and fighting back against disinformation, but finding different ways to engage with voters and to answer questions and concerns that may be valid or misunderstood, and gives us a platform to do so, as well as our friendly media partners and being able to use social media to share those important messages. I believe that is it from my end.
Okay. And speaking of misinformation, I really appreciate the efforts you've made to go out to the media and explain our whole process and make that process more transparent to the voters. That's been very helpful.
Well, thank you, Chairwoman.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of interest in it for 2024, of course, but I also want to thank the commissioners and especially Commissioner Cressy, too, for getting me connected with organizations like the American Bar Association. I did another panel discussion with the ABA just last week, dedicated to fighting back against misinformation as a community engagement tool. We were there with different clerks from across the country, just talking about some of those tips about voter engagement. So this has been a busy season, but it's been a good opportunity, and the media and our news reporters, thankfully, have been very interested in the subject, which gives us that opportunity to push back and explain how these very complicated and very many layers of laws and legal systems protect voters' voice at the ballot box.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I wanted to also just personally thank you for the work you've done with the American Bar Association. These sort of proactive measures hopefully will help us in this election, where we didn't have them in the last ones, with regards to misinformation, disinformation. And the video that you did on why you can trust the voting machines, the ABA is, disseminating that all over the place. So again, we're making you a national figure.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. I think the goal when we started a lot of this, I think, was to create a model not just for us, but things that could be helpful for other election authorities and, the associations that we're a part of, the different conferences that we're a part of. We've learned from them, and hopefully, we can share our materials and they can learn from us too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go into old business. I think we have addressed a lot of this. Do we have any other issues to discuss with regards to electronic poll books and voting equipment, changes in election administration?
No, Madam Chair, we don't.
Okay, if not, I'll go to Mr. Lasker when there is nothing on legislation because the legislature is not in session.
Correct, Madam Chair.
So we will proceed now with new business, and we have an emergency procurement contract on the agenda. Amanda?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Procurement Office is requesting your approval and ratification of an emergency contract with Event Equipment Sales LLC for furniture rental of tables and chairs for our polling places, including early voting sites, vote centers, and election day precincts. The furniture rental service are for the November 2024 general election only. On January 18th, 2024, the board approved the contract for furniture rental services with Marquee Event Rental. However, Marquee is now closed for business due to unforeseen circumstances. The procurement office reached out to 2 vendors for an emergency quote for furniture rental services. Those vendors are Event Equipment Sales LLC and House of Rental. The board only received 1 quote from Event Equipment Sales. Event Equipment Sales has provided furniture rental services throughout the city of Chicago for events such as the Taste of Chicago, the Chicago Marathon, and parades throughout the city. Event Equipment Sales has confirmed their capacity to fulfill and meet the board's furniture requirements for the November 5th general election. Purchasing is recommending that a contract be awarded to Event Equipment Sales LLC for the November 2024 general election in the amount of not to exceed $199,384.75.
Yes.
Not from his, go ahead.
Oh,
Chris.
how does the dollar amount on this contract compare to Marquee?
It's lower. Marquee was 209, I believe, and this is, it brought it down.
Well. Well,
From the January 24th.
let's hope these folks don't got our business either.
Their Marquee is,
Guess if we
she
can get
was
a
so
better
sad
price.
to go, but.
Very good. Thank you.
Marquee. I'm sure there was, maybe this is old. They raised it from 2023 and from 194 and went to 209. Marquee did.
Do you have any further questions?
For the
Sure.
either Mr. Holliday or Mr. Lasker. On the when do we know about this? And do we have any, can we gain anything back from you?
What, that was pretty recent. What date? Do you remember the date where we got the phone call or whatever from
It was
Marquee?
during a staff meeting.
It was during our staff meeting, and I asked.
3 weeks ago, or?
No, that was October 2nd, because I asked Clint, can you confirm for tables and chairs? And he said yes, and then a couple minutes later, he said Brandon got a call that they were getting.
I do remember them, but that was in October, October 2nd.
Okay.
And there's no
Just
recourse.
mention it, and then we get.
Well, I mean, you can sue a company that has gone out of business, but I don't know how much,
Yeah,
you know,
where
be
we
able to
would be in
cover
the
for
line
it.
of creditors
yeah.
or damages. Okay.
Well, and when it comes to damages, they'd be mitigated by the fact that apparently the newer contract is less expensive than
Right.
theirs too, so.
Right.
For this year, I just don't have that one. I had 194.
I'm looking for that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, thank you, Amanda, for acting quickly on this
Thank you.
and the staff.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve and ratify a contract with Event Equipment Sales LLC for the rental and delivery and tables and chairs for polling places with a term beginning on October 21st, 2024 and continuing through November 31st, 2024 at a cost not to exceed $199,384.75.
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
So moved with the correction that it probably should be November 30th, 2024.
Yeah.
30
Okay.
days has November. And September.
My apologies. Trying to give us one extra day.
Okay, it's
Gonna
been
need a copy editor over there, Adam.
properly moved and seconded with the amendment of November 30th, 2024. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Mr. Lasker, legal report.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. This week is Chicago Bar Association's annual Pro Bono Week, and so this afternoon I'm actually participating on a panel discussion called Protecting the Right to Vote, a primer for lawyers. They're very happy to have the General Counsel for the Board of Elections to speak on behalf of the way that lawyers help us with elections. I'll also be speaking, because there's no other attorney to do it, just on behalf of campaigns and candidates who also have a lot of attorneys out there working as poll watchers. Ami Gandhi from the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights is on that panel with me, as is Ashley Hubner. She's a pro bono attorney for Kirkland and Ellis. Christopher Garcia is an advocate for those with disabilities and an attorney with Equipped for Equality. And the event is moderated by Bob Glaves, who's been with the Chicago Bar Association since they had dinosaurs on the roster. So that's going on. And I also just wanted to point out that we recently did receive the 2024 November Election Judge Handbook that's created by Audra Lewicki and her team down in the Community Services Division. I'm highlighting this as a part of our ongoing conversation about all the election misinformation and disinformation that's going on out there. This is on our website, so anybody in the world can access it. And anybody who has questions about how the election is supposed to work, this is a step-by-step guide to an election day precinct, from opening the doors at 5 a.m. to shipping the ballots out to the receiving station when it's done. Every single thing is in here. It's very legally compliant, but it's written so that basically anybody, including high school judges, can understand it. So I just highly encourage anybody out there who has questions about how elections are supposed to work, go to our website, check out this document that's got basically all the answers in it. Otherwise, I'm feeling like we're pretty well prepared for the election. No pending election-related litigation. So that's my report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We have no financial report today. Do we have public comment? No. No public comment. Is there a need for executive session?
No, Madam Chair.
If not, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
Seconded by Commissioner Cressy.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes and we're adjourned. Thank you.